Joining us now to talk about the game, number 5, Donovan McNabb. What's up, Donovan?
All right, what's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Feeling pretty good, Donovan. Couple straight wins. Uh-oh. So, I mean, I guess just offensively first, what was your big takeaway from Saturday's game?
Well, I think we just did what we need to do to win. Nothing was spectacular. I mean, we had some big explosive runs in the running game with Saquon and our running back by committee, so to speak. But as far as our passing game was concerned, we did just enough to win. And, I think we threw for just over 160 yards passing with 5.2 or 5.8 yards per passing play, which, I expect us to be a little bit more explosive. But, it is what it is at this particular point. I think we all just kind of have to accept the fact that we're just not an explosive offense in the passing game. We're methodical. It's moving the chains. Obviously didn't turn the football over, but more importantly, I think for this football team is, if we can continue to stay this way and be balanced and our defense puts us on a short field, we'll have a great opportunity to continue to move on.
Not much from under the center. Their explanation was kind of.
Remember what I said exactly. I expected that, but I don't know if it was maybe they didn't want to show that in the first meeting, and then we'll see in the next game, the next opportunity to change it up a little bit. But that was my big question. The fact that we did bring it under, bring that to now the film where the other teams have to prepare for it, but. Where does that now lead us? Do we move into that realm where we open it up, or was it just something to try again?
Well, I'll tell you, them running out of the shotgun, it probably was the most success they've had running out of the shotgun in any game I could think of. So I'm just wondering, they gave them a different look. I know we all certainly would prefer more under the center stuff, but did you at least like what they did out of the shotgun? It seemed like they had a lot more empty backfield sets as well. Did you like what they did sort of from a schematic standpoint Saturday?
From a schematic standpoint, I love the fact that, yes, we did do a little bit more empty because I think we have receivers that can create mismatches if they decide to play us man, but we just don't utilize it. And I think as far as the shotgun runs are concerned, it's pretty much the same stuff that we've been doing. And we just haven't been blocking well up front. And to be honest with you, some of the schemes that we were doing as far as blocking is, concerned up front, there were a few missed blocks on a lot of different occasions that could have been more explosive runs. So I just think for the team, consistency is the thing that we have to focus more on when it comes to what this offense is about. We don't have an identity, but just as far as consistency and that being Jalen protecting the football, taking what the defense is giving them. A lot of times we'll be hitting check downs or our intermediate routes, quick game, and not too much over the top. But we just got to accept what we are, and hopefully we can continue to play at this level on both sides and find ourselves hopefully winning games.
Donovan, can you talk about how that from a QB perspective and from an offensive totality perspective, when you're going empty and 5 wide, what it does to the defense and how it can create an advantage offensively? What is happening there that allows them to be successful?
Well, the whole thing as far as when you either go empty or motion into empty, you're creating mismatches. You're trying to create mismatches, and you're also trying to see what the defense is doing. A lot of times they'll show a lot of different blitzes, but when you motion out into empty, either they stay in that same blitz or they pull them out of that blitz, where now that linebacker, that safety, who may be involved in the blitz, now has to go out and cover the running back. And then in certain instances, when they do, go out and cover the running back, you're getting man. If they just kind of expand the corner out and kind of shift the defense, then you're in the zone. And so some of the pass plays will be the intermediate or quick game that you'll utilize. But if they go man, you want to attack them downfield, maybe some crossing routes, and have a deep over route over at 18 to 25, and over the top you have either a post or a post corner, where now you put that corner in the bind because he doesn't have the safety help. And so I will say that they have been creative in that aspect of it. And this is something that I have seen early in the season with Kevin Petula. This is why I said I don't think it's so much as Kevin Petula not wanting to be creative. I think a lot of it is just being on the same page with everyone else so that they understand his philosophy and what he's trying to do. So I'm looking to see where we're going to take this. I would love to see us a little bit more in empty and be able to create those mismatches. But I will say that, at least we were balanced enough where we showed a lot of different looks that were very successful for us.
Yeah.
Donovan, one thing I read, just to talk about the empty thing a little bit more, one thing I read was that defenses are trying to disguise what they do more than ever, right? And then when you spread it out like that, I think you touched on it a little bit there, it makes it harder for the defense to disguise what defense that they're actually running. And that has changed over the last few years. So if you were in that position now and defense is doing all that disguising, showing blitz and then not doing it, dropping, linemen into coverage more than they ever have, what is it, from a quarterback perspective, what's the right way to try to assess that to make the decision what you're doing with the ball when your pre-snap reads are more difficult to make than they might have been in the past?
Well, I mean, if me being the quarterback and I had the guys that I've had, I mean, when you bring Westbrook out in motion, you have to either bring a safety out to him or you're going to expand that corner because you don't want to have that linebacker playing him man-to-man. And I think the same thing could be said if they do that and then have a linebacker covering Saquon Barkley or our backup running back. I mean, he's shown he's got quickness and hands, and I think you can utilize him more in the passing game. And if teams want to decide to blitz, which most of the time it'll be an all-out blitz if they do, then you just either throw a quick game out to that running back or possibly that outside receiver, run a wide receiver screen, something that obviously I got a chance to watch a little bit of what Drake May was doing with New England. They would show one side and then throw it to the opposite side, and all of a sudden it becomes a big play. And so I think there's ways of being able to attack in that situation, but also, too, when you have a quarterback that has the mobility like Jalen, you can run a quarterback draw. If they spread it out and nobody's in the middle of the football field, and you can block up that five, meaning that four-down lineman and that linebacker, that means it's just you and the goalpost. You hit your head on the goalpost. So there's a lot of different things that you can do in an empty set that puts a lot of pressure on the defense, and now that makes them have to dictate what they want to do in that next situation, that next alignment that you do.
Last two games, Jalen's legs have been a big part of what they've been doing offensively as far as being able to sustain drives.
Right.
And they're not calling a bunch of quarterback runs, but I've noticed when he sees that man-to-man coverage and those defenders have their back turned to him, he's a little more decisive when he wants to run. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing something different with his sort of his quick decision to go ahead and take off and use his legs?
I will say this, and you've been a part of it. It's about the development at the position. When you have a young quarterback, you'll create some read option stuff and get them moving and be an option in the run game. But when you're developing at the position, you learn how to play from the pocket, but also know your strengths of if they decide to play man, there's nobody guarding you. And so that middle becomes wide open. And the same we can be said of with the development of what Lamar Jackson has been about. Lamar's sitting in the pocket and he's buying time with his eyes downfield, and he'll decide to take off. And now you become that much more of a threat where they can't just have that safety going and double teaming over the top of receiver. They can't have that linebacker now vacate the middle of the football field because you have that ability to be able to utilize your legs. That's what I'm seeing from Jalen. I'm seeing Jalen understanding a little bit of playing from the pocket and what he's trying to do. He's trying to be methodical of his reads and understand he has time when he is protected. You would like to see him maybe run the ball maybe 3 to 4 times a game, and I've been in that same situation. Like a lot of people outside may not like it, but that's what the development of the position. A lot of the young guys are going through it at this particular point. You can look and see, especially the whole Drake May and Caleb Williams draft, of how those guys are playing. But that's just how we kind of perform at that position. And that's something that we just got to be able to build around. Hopefully Kevin Petula will be here next year so we don't have to go through this whole option of finding another coordinator so that he can kind of have a chemistry with Jalen.
Donovan, this defense has really really evolved over the year, and they look like they are a championship level defense right now. One of the most impressive things, doing it without Jalen Carter, with the contributions that Jordan Davis has given over the last couple of weeks. What are you seeing from the defense that has impressed you?
I mean, I can't say that we're at championship level right now because we don't have Jalen Carter. Now, if we play the way we're playing and Jalen Carter adds what we expect him to add to that, then I can say, yes, we can become one of the top 5 type of defenses. But the only thing that I will say, when you look at like the Houston Texans, can we play at that level from a front four standpoint that they've been playing at with those defensive ends coming upfield and causing havoc? Can we play like some of these other top defenses that have been playing? And that's being consistent when it comes to first and second down. So on third down now, you get a third and long situation where you can peel your ears back and be able to get to the quarterback. If we can continue to be in that kind of phase, where on first down we're getting tackle for losses, on second down we're getting incomplete passes, now all of a sudden you start to see the Jalen Carters, and you also see maybe, BG coming off the edge, BG coming off the edge, and some of these other guys. So I just think it all starts with us on defense of being able to establish that on first and second down. So on third down, we're not fighting when the third and short situation.
So let's say this season ended today. I know it doesn't, but let's say it does. Where do you see the Eagles in the hierarchy of the NFC? Who do you think the best 1 or 2 teams are, and where do you think the Eagles sit within the NFC?
I mean, obviously people may get upset because of what I said, but I still think the Rams are the top class of the NFC, even though that they lost to Seattle. From a record standpoint and how Seattle played against the Rams, I would probably have to put them number 2. I would say that we're definitely probably number 3 when it comes to the NFC, and from 4 and 5 after that, it's kind of a toss-up of different teams. But I would just at least say from what we have done so far, we're definitely in that top 3 of the categories. But, I think we're better than Seattle. But if we happen to play in Seattle, it can go either way. So I just think for where the NFC is at this particular point, is good parity. It's not big separation, but we are definitely in the upper echelon of the NFC.
All right, Donovan. We'll have a Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you next week after a big game against Buffalo next Sunday.
Absolutely.
Actually, let me ask you about that. What do you think of the Buffalo game? The Eagles and the Bills.
I would say, to be honest with you, I think Buffalo is in the same situation that we are when they're trying to figure out who they are. I mean, these wins that Buffalo has had hasn't been impressive, but they found ways to win toward the end of the game. Everybody expects, Josh Allen to put his cape on all the time. They got an established runner in Cook. They may not have that number 1 weapon at the wide receiver, but Josh spreads the ball around. Their tight end is solid. And so they use their tight end the way we should be using Dallas Goedert. But I just think for what Buffalo has been, their defense is a bend but don't break type of defense. Don't get a lot of pressure, but they find ways to win. So I think it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be highly competitive. I think that we'll come out on top, but I don't think it'll be a big blowout type of win.
All right, Donovan, we'll talk to you next week. Appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate it, bro.